Hey, welcome. Today we're back in our Whitepaw colony, and today our goal is going to be getting in our elevator to the abyss on these underground ruins here. However, we've got a little bit of stuff that needs done first. For the elevator, you'll see that you need split logs, and the only way to get to the split giant logs are the advanced sawmill that we put in last time. However, we're a little low on items to actually connect it in. As you can see, we've only got 26 logs. 17 if it counts them itself. So we've got to come up with some ways to find logs. Now, the obvious way is to go around the map and see logs that we're not using. And we could try and pick these up. And we just might, but it might be more of a pain to try and get those than other ways. So we'll save that as a last resort. Then there's, of course, the obvious, seeing where the rest of the stuff is. We've got all of these over here. They're all marked, so they should be coming in. Are these guys... Well, there's a couple more trees that we could put in here, so we'll go ahead and plant those back. There we go. A little bit more here. Make sure that they're ready to plant all those. And we can even get one. Can we get one here? Yeah, we can plant one there. There we go. Same thing over here. We've got a whole side over here that looks like it might not be set to cut. Well, it doesn't want to show me the cut. A weird bug. It shows up every once in a while. Aha! There are a couple here that weren't set to cut. So let's get rid of those. Or at least cut them down. There we go. And then we've got a couple of other options here and there. One, we don't currently need any pine resin. We have a whole forest here that we could use. So we might just start there. Sacrifice our pine forests. And get in a couple more of the lumberjacks so that we can pull trees from here. We'll go ahead and say cut trees. You know what? I'm just going to mark the whole thing, and whatever we get to, we get to. We could pull some from here as well, considering we don't have that much that needs pine resin at the moment. So what I'll do is, let's go ahead and grab a couple more of those. Oh, there we go. Grab one of those. We'll put you in here and you in here. We'll say cut trees. Let's go ahead, mark just this area and maybe this area over here. And then our last option really is to just get more places to put trees in. I see there's a nice place here, but we might use that as kind of a last option. Just because it's a little out of the way. We've got some room here, but I don't know how much this lake will provide water here if it stays good. We could try to come down here and put a gate in, but that, you know what? We might be able to get there with the long road. Let's go ahead and see if we can just make it down there. All the way down to this far end. It's going to be a heck of a long walk for them, but they're beavers. They're used to walking quite a ways. There we go. And you know what? We might put zip lines along the way just so they don't have to walk that whole way with this. And then we can take them back down when we're done. There we go. Can we get down there? It looks like we might need at least one set of stairs. There we go. We'll put those in. We'll put these in. And then can we get a water gate down here? We're going to need houses and dams. There we go. Let's get our floodgate dam. There we go. Perfect. That'll do. Yeah, I think that'll work just fine. Then, well, it'll hold in some water. And if it flows over this side, I'm not too worried about it. Let's go ahead and build in the zipline network, though, that they can take. It might just be a short time zipline network, but that's okay. If we have to take it back down, at least we'll get some of the resources back. Can I put it... Let's go this way. And then we'll just put pylons here. So will you... Okay, well, we'll put you there. And then put you there. Looks like I missed a piece of road there. Pylon can go here. Extend it all the way out down the road. That can go there. That can go there. That can go there. We'll just put it over the top of the road because why not? Zipline station. There we go. They can build all of that. You know what? Let's take this out so they try and build that last. They don't just walk down the road and then build the zipline station afterwards. Grab this again. We'll put this in afterwards. There we go. And can we connect those? We should be able to connect them back here. Line obstructed. Oh, I've got the thing backwards. No big deal. There we go. We'll put you in there. Let's add these connections in. Do it that way. Connect all of you in. There we go. You can go back there. I'll tell you what, while we're here, this seems like some decent green land. We'll go ahead and try putting in some trees here. If they grow, great. If they don't grow, well, we'll just take it back out. It's not the end of the world if they don't. We'll put you in here. Let's get a... Oops, nope. It's going to have to go up one, I think. Let's put you there. There we go. That's what we want. We'll put you there. And then we'll put a barn next to it. Now, which side does that barn... I never remember which side the barn needs to go on. It looks like the right side, just in case we ever want to keep this and build a tower in there. We can do that. Let's go... It's the regular jobs. Grab this. We'll put a barn right next to it on the right side. There we go. And then we'll plant a ton of trees in here. And yeah, I know some of those are on bad water, but it should be all right. I don't know how many are going to stay anyway. There we go. That's all in there. Oops, I missed a whole row here somehow. Oh, I bet there's a line there. So it goes down. How far out can you plant? Oh, you can plant quite a ways. Let's get that in there. There we go. So there's the first project for some extra ones. We could put some more up down here if we needed to, but I'd also like to put some more up here. So let's just grab this, and I'm going to move as far over as I can, which looks like there. Grab the barn. Nope, that is not the barn. Are you the barn? You are the barn. Put you there. Take a road out, and if we need a tower on that one, we can do that. Let's get our ever blossoms going there. There we go. That gives us plenty there. Did I mark all of this area to cut? It wouldn't do them much good if they weren't told to actually cut it, so that's okay. We'll put this tree cutting area in. Oh, it had to think about that. There we go. More tree cutting area. Over here, we'll mark all this as tree cutting area. And some of that. There we go. That looks good. So we've got a couple of extra farms there. And then, do I want to go ahead and put more trees across the river here? You know what? We'll start with trees. Eventually, it might change into something else. I'm kind of thinking we should put maybe a grape farm in over here just to get some more grapes. But we're going to start with trees because I know we need trees. Let's go ahead, get all this in. All this can go. And then we'll go to about the middle here and drop in a nice forester here. There we go. You know what? Let's do you there. And then we'll take the road out a little bit farther. We'll do the lumberjack barn here next to it. There we go. And then we should probably do a tower here. With our trees in, it's probably time to look around to see what we can do to make sure that we're going to have some extra beavers here and there. and fix our population accordingly. The first thing that I saw that I think can go are probably the florists. Now that we're able to get the plant fibers from our bamboo, and we can pretty much get everything else pretty well, we can go ahead and take these out. We'll go ahead, remove these, let the beavers escape while they can. There we go. They're not going to need this anymore, so we'll take those out. They're not going to need any of those anymore. We'll go ahead and take those out. Take these out. And they don't really need this anymore either. There we go. I don't think we actually need these medical beds. We can take those out since we have the hospitals now. Let's go ahead. Oh, you know what? I forgot to. We can probably just take this out. Set this back to the zipline blueprints. Large fancy zipline. There we go. Let's say that's pretty important because I want to be able to build those ziplines, and I think most of my blueprints are right there. Also, I'm looking at this. I could move this forward one and get a little bit of space back here, and I think I know what I want to put in back here. But first, we're going to have to take out our chestnut beer here, which is a bit of a tragedy, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and at least pick up what we can from it. We'll do the chestnut beer. Let's go ahead. We'll put in staircase as well. There we go. One staircase and one dynamite. And there we go. That should be good for now. I'm starting to notice our scrap metal is actually a bit low. Over here, they've only got a couple left as well. So we might have to start thinking about using our foundry to actually make some scrap. But if we're using the foundry, I don't think these little ones are going to keep up with what we have for those. So I'm going to go ahead and look into investing in a drill for the iron. Let's go ahead, grab our industrial buildings. There we go. Nope, maybe it's under metal. There it is. Do I have... Yes, I have plenty of science for that. So let's go ahead and just toss that in there where it was always meant to be. We'll say this is a bit more important so everything connects back in. And then the other thing that I want to make sure is if we can get rid of these mines over here, we could probably do most of that by putting in a second mine here. Let's see. Do we need coal? We kind of look like we need coal. I'm going to go ahead and move this pile, though. Let's see. Will you let me move you under the sign? I don't remember if it will or not, but let's find out here. Nope, but it'll let me put you next to the sign, so we'll just take you out that way. We don't need this road because it's just a spare road, basically. Let's take you out of there. Yep. And then we can look into getting a second one of these, which... Can I just flip this? There we go. My plan is to kind of just put it right here. Maybe I put it over one, so I go like this. And then we grab this and flip it again. Nope, that's a rotate. There we go. Now I just have to figure out what I need to actually blow up here. Let's grab our dynamite. We'll count the spaces again, but flipped. We'll just go, you know what? We'll put this in so we have record of where it's at. And then we have fours. It looks like 1, 2, 3. Is this a 3 by 3? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's the 4 by 4. Or no, 3 by 3. Sorry. And then over here, it's going to be 3s, 2 3s. Nope, sorry. 3 3s. Then 2. Did I start this? I started this one too close, didn't I? Yep. That's tricky about setting up this mine. You have to remember that there's a fence around it. There we go. Let's do the dynamites. Let's do this. So there's the fence, so it needs to move over one from the fence. There's this area. And then we've got the 4s that go up from here. Let's see. It is off the side here. 1, 2, 3. And then 2. And then 1. I believe that should let me put in another mine that's flipped once they've actually got those in there. Let's say this for rocks, though, is a little more important so we don't actually run over on the rocks. While I was putting in everything else, I did come to the realization I could just put in the elevator to Abyss. We've got most of the other stuff. If we're just waiting on the cut logs, at least when we're done getting the sawmill in, we can just put those in and they can start working on it. That way we don't have to wait for them to bring everything else too. They got through our dynamite pretty quick, so let's go ahead and take care of that. There we go. Nice. Now if we grab this, can I put you, yep, right there like so. We're going to have to grab just a couple of these. There we go. That can go there. This can go here. And that should give us a whole nother mine so that we can finally be pulling other things out of it. We'll need some quartz at some point. We have the drills for the coal and the iron. We'll probably set one to quartz eventually, maybe one to saltpeter, and then if push comes to shove, we can always use one for water. We finally hit that point where we're out of scrap metal to scavenge. There's still some other spots on the map, like I mentioned earlier. In fact, there's a little bit over here that if we ever wanted to go after, we probably could. And then, of course, there's the stuff in this corner. However, not exactly the easiest to get to. So, now that we've got our drill for iron in, we definitely can look into, instead of making more steel saw blades, as I think we have at least a couple of them at this point, we can go to just making scrap metal. And that'll use up a bunch of coal and a bunch of iron, which hopefully should give us a bunch of dirt as well so that we can start building blocks. Our power line finally got connected for our sawmill here. We are making some nice giant half logs. In fact, we've already got a couple over here at the elevator. We just need a few more and then we'll be done with that. We do need to think about how we're going to get the power to it, which I believe the only power connection is here in the back. So let's see if we can maybe go around here. We might need to build an extra ladder here just in case we need to come down and through. Let's do that. There we go. We'll build one here. Get ourselves a platform, and now we should be able to take this all the way out and around. And I believe the extensions for this are about that long. I want to say they're 2 blocks. Let's see if we can find out here real quick. That under science, nope, that's the advanced buildings. And then they stick out. It looks like 1 block, maybe? Yeah, they just stick out 1 block. So, not too worried about that. We can actually take that away, take that away. We'll put in turns here. Let's go with the power. And we'll just do that. We'll do this. Connect the power in there. Oh, do they need... No, I think they access it all through the front. So, we should be good there. And that'll connect them up to this... Oops. This power connection. But, you know what, come to think of it, we need a 3 here because we're also going to come out this way And I'm going to come over the road here for now. You here. Grab you. Connect you in here. Connect you in here. Because we've got some plans for this large back area as well. But we're probably not going to get to that today. There we go. Oh, and our beavers are off on a journey. Slightly lower in the ground. But they are looking for something. So, with our elevator to the abyss in, we can finally start getting a various couple of things that we need to head toward at the end game. I believe in here is where we get our, let's see, that's the advanced buildings, where we get our nuclear material. So we're definitely going to have to look into that next time. That's a big one for us. We're going to have to start looking into the gas, and then we can start looking at some of the other things that we might be able to produce from here, or we could just store stuff in here. We'll have to see how that goes. There's a tourist center, and would you look at that? There's a medical facility. Well, that's new. That's kind of neat. How big is that? Well, it's fairly large, but we don't exactly have to put it here. So we might end up using that at some point. But I think that's going to do it for today. With the mine getting in, we've got a little bit of an extension out here. Our sawmill is up and running. We've got some extra trees now, so hopefully we don't run out of those anymore. This whole area is now green because we added this floodgate over here. There's still a bit of a mess here. I'm not sure if I blocked this off, if this would flood, or if there would be more issues here for it. But that might have to be as well a next time thing. So until then, just want to say thank you very much for stopping by, and hope to see you next time. Bye!